is going on, everybody? My name is Nick, and welcome back to episode 11, and welcome to episode 11 of the Good Schmidt podcast. Today, I'm going to be discussing NFL free agency along with some major trades that have gone down so far this offseason. So let's get into it. Starting off with the quarterbacks, and the biggest bombshell thus far of free agency is Tom Brady signing a 2-year, $50 million guaranteed contract to go play down in Tampa Bay with the Buccaneers. This is like something out of a video game. People did not. A lot of people did not think Tom Brady was going to leave. A lot of the experts were saying he was. At first, I thought he was going to stay in New England, and then there was more and more rumors about him leaving. And he went to Tampa, which is a team I actually thought he could have went to, and I was thinking of teams that he was going to go to. Tampa was one that came to mind. Most people didn't think the Buccaneers, but with their great receiving core, with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and O.J. Howard at tight end, they're going to be pretty scary now with Tom Brady added to the team. That definitely makes them more of a contender in the NFC. The next quarterback to leave teams is Phillip Rivers, who joins the Colts on a 1-year, $25 million contract. This is definitely an interesting signing here for the Colts. Definitely could work out for them, I feel like. Drew Brees does re-sign with the Saints. 2 years, $50 million. He recently made some controversial comments that I'm not going to get into, because you may or may not disagree with those. But yeah, that's not what this video is about. But anyways, the next quarterback to move teams was Teddy Bridgewater going to the Panthers. He signed a 3-year contract worth $63 million, and $33 million of that being fully guaranteed money. Some more quarterbacks here. Ryan Tannehill did sign an extension to continue playing with the Titans. 4 years, $118 million, $62 fully guaranteed. So a very big contract there for Tannehill. Mariota, former Titans quarterback, goes to the Raiders. 2 years, $25 million, $7.5 million base salary in year 1 with a max value of $37.5 million. Jameis Winston, the turnover machine himself, 30-30 man, who had LASIK surgery this offseason, goes to the Saints to be a backup there. He signs a 1-year contract. And the Saints also place a first-round tender on Taysom Hill. So they're going to plan on using him too. Andy Dalton signs with the Cowboys after being cut by the Bengals. So he'll be the backup to Dak Prescott. And then Case Keenum is signing with the Browns to be the backup to Baker Mayfield. Over to running backs. This was another bombshell. Todd Gurley got cut by the Rams, probably due to injury problems, and then immediately a day later he signed a 1-year, $6 million contract with the Falcons. So very interesting there that what happened there with Todd Gurley. The Falcons definitely can use his star power for sure. Great pickup by Atlanta. That's a steal of a signing in my opinion. Melvin Gordon signs a 2-year, $16 million contract with the Broncos. Again, another steal of a signing for the Broncos. Yeah, huge signing there. And then Austin Eckler signs an extension with the Chargers, 4-year, $30 million. Yeah, great signing there. And Jordan Howard, a former Bears and Eagles running back, signs a 2-year, $10 million contract with the Dolphins. And then I had to throw this fullback in here. Derek Watt signed with the Steelers, 3 years, $9.7 million deal, $3.25 million guaranteed. And the reason I threw this in there is because Derek Watt is going to be playing on his brother's team. T.J. Watt is a linebacker for the Steelers as well, so I just find that really cool. A couple more running backs here. Damian Williams is going to remain in Kansas City, the Super Bowl champs. He picks up his $2.3 million option. And Frank Gore, legendary running back, who's third, or not already, but he is a legendary running back because he's third on the all-time rushing list, right behind Walter Payton, will continue to play at age 37 as he signs with the Jets, a one-year deal. So he's going to be on his third AFC East team. Last year he played for the Bills. And the year before he played for the Dolphins. And yeah, now he's with the Jets. So pretty crazy stuff there. Wide receivers. Emmanuel Sanders is going to join the Saints, signing a 2-year, $16 million deal. Yeah, huge signing here for the Saints. Amari Cooper is going to sign a massive extension with the Cowboys, or he does sign a massive extension with the Cowboys. 5 years, $100 million, $60 million guaranteed. Larry Fitzgerald still playing. He is going to re-sign again with the Cardinals. 1 year, $11 million contract. Travis Benjamin signs a 1 year, $2 million deal with the Niners. The Panthers pick up a solid receiver in Robbie Anderson. He signs a 2 year, $20 million contract. He'll make $10 million in year one. And then Randall Cobb joins the other Texas team. He signs with the Texans. He signs a 3-year deal with them. In my opinion, this is a huge overpay for Cobb. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that signing whatsoever, because ever since he left the ever since his last year with the Packers, he's been declining, in my opinion. He's been regressing. Definitely isn't as fast as he was when he was younger. Now for tight ends, we had quite a few tight ends here. Moving teams. First, Eric Ebron joining the Steelers. He signed a 2-year, $12 million deal. Austin Hooper is signed by the Browns to a massive deal. Huge overpay here. 4 years, $42 million. $23 million guaranteed in the first 2 years. What are the Browns doing? They have David Njoku. What are they doing? Jimmy Graham signs with the Bears. So he's no longer on the Packers. Greg Olsen signing with the Seahawks. So he's not retiring yet. That's interesting. Tyler Eifert signs a 2-year deal with the Jags. And then Jason Witten actually leaves the Cowboys for the Raiders. He signed a 1-year, $4 million deal. So yeah, a lot of movement here for the tight end market. And then we got a few more tight ends here. Blake Jarwin re-signing with the Cowboys. 3 years, $24.25 million total for his total contract. Darren Fells is re-signing with the Texans, and then Trey Burton is going to sign with the Colts. For offensive line, we got a few offensive linemen here. Andrew Whitworth is re-signing with the Rams. 3 years, $30 million with $12.5 million guaranteed. Anthony Castanozo, I'm not sure if that's correct or not. So apologize if I butchered his last name. He re-signed with the Colts. 2 years, $33 million. Definitely one of the better offensive linemen in the game there. Both of those guys, Whitworth and Castanozo. And then Graham Glasgow goes from the Lions to Broncos. He signed a 4-year, $44 million contract, $25 million guaranteed. And for defensive players, there's going to be a lot to go through. We're going to start with Dante Fowler, who is going from the Rams to the Falcons. He signed a 3-year, $48 million deal with Atlanta. Jimmy Smith is re-signing with the Ravens. 1 year, $6 million. And then Josh Norman going to the Bills. Also a 1 year, $6 million deal. And then Danny Trevathan signed a 3-year extension with the Bears with a base value of $21.75 million and a max value of $24 million. I'm sure my friend Brian would be happy about that. Shout out to Brian if you're watching this. Chris Harris Jr. is signing with the Chargers. 2 years, $17 million, and $7.5 million is guaranteed. And his contract has a max value of $20 million with incentives. Jamie Collins is going from the Patriots to the Lions. He signs a 3-year, $30 million contract, $18 million guaranteed. Joe Schobert signs a large 5-year contract with the Jaguars, $53.75 million and a $22.5 million guaranteed. Xavier Rhodes going from the Vikings to the Colts. Yeah, he signs a $3 million contract with a $1 million signing bonus with Indianapolis. Over to Desmond Trufant now, is our next signing. He signs a 2-year, $20 million deal with the Lions. Bradley Roby re-signing with the Texans, 3 years, $36 million contract. Devin McCourty coming back to the Patriots, 2 years, $23 million, $17 million guaranteed. Vic Beasley is going to sign a 1-year deal with he signs a 1-year deal with the Titans. JPP re-signed with the Bucks, 2 years, $27 million, and then Thomas Davis going to the Redskins, 1 year, $3.5 million. The Dolphins were pretty busy this offseason. Here's a whole list of defensive players they signed, starting off with Kyle Van Noy, who signed a 4-year, $51 million contract, $30 million guaranteed. The Dolphins also signed Emmanuel Ogbah, 2 years, $15 million, $7.5 million fully guaranteed. And then they signed Byron Jones, corner from the Cowboys, who played for the Cowboys last year. They signed him to a huge contract, 5 years, $82 million, $54 million guaranteed. They also signed Shaq Lawson to a 3-year, $30 million contract, and they re-signed Austin Colbert, 1 year, $1.775 million. So yeah, the Dolphins were very busy, improving their defense this offseason. As for the Cowboys, they've had a pretty busy offseason as well. They signed Gerald McCoy to a 3-year, $18.3 million deal. They re-signed Sean Lee. And they also signed Clinton Dix, former Packer and Bear, to a 1-year deal worth $4 million. And then this is an interesting development here that's happened this offseason. Aldon Smith coming back to the NFL. He signed a 1-year prove-it deal with the Cowboys, and his conditional reinstatement process is ongoing since he is suspended still, according to Ian Rappaport. So yeah, interesting that Aldon Smith is coming back. He was pretty dominant a while back, like in the early 2010s with the 49ers, helping them get to the Super Bowl, and then he got into some legal trouble. And now he is coming back to the NFL. If you want to learn more about his story, Flemlow Raps has a couple videos about him, so go check him out, or go check that out, I should say, if you're interested. Moving on to the Bengals, who made a few key signings. Speaking of, this is his favorite team. They signed Von Bell, safety Von Bell, to a 3-year, $18 million deal. He can earn $7 million in year 1. And the Bengals also signed D-tackle DJ Reader and Trey Waynes, cornerback Trey Waynes. Reader's contract is 4 years, $53 million, and Trey Waynes' contract is 3 years, $42 million. Now we get into the major trades. This is where things get pretty interesting. So, the first major trade, this is like something out of Madden. DeAndre Hopkins and a 4th-round pick were traded to the Cardinals. And get this, the Texans get David Johnson, a 2022 2nd-round pick, and a 2021 4th-round pick. So really wild stuff here, a wild trade. In my opinion, this is highway robbery for the Cardinals. They're getting one of the top receivers in the game. He's like top 2 in the league. He might even be the best receiver in the game, honestly. They get him, and they trade away a running back that was good a couple of years ago in David Johnson. He's had injury problems the last couple of years. So yeah, this is highway robbery for Arizona. My goodness. The next trade we have is Stephon Diggs and a 2021 7th-round pick being traded to the Bills. And the Vikings get a 2021 1st-round pick, a 5th-round pick, a 6th-round pick, and a 2021 4th-round pick. So the Vikings get really good the Vikings get a lot for Stephon Diggs. I was going to say they get assets for Stephon Diggs, quite a few draft picks here. Really nice trade for both sides. The Bills get a premier wide receiver for Josh Allen, and the Vikings get some assets in return. So, yeah, nice trade there. The next trade is Darius Slay being shipped to the Eagles. And Darius Slay will receive a 3-year, $50 million extension with Philly, with $30 million guaranteed. In exchange, the Lions get a 3rd and a 5th round pick. Again, wild stuff here. Philly's getting a premier corner, and the Lions are only getting a 3rd and a 5th round pick for Darius Slay. I feel like they could have got a little bit more there, but yeah, just some wild trades here. And we got some more trades here. A few more trades here. These are pretty interesting. The Colts are acquiring DeForest Buckner in a trade with the 49ers, who get the 13th overall pick in this year's draft. Which Tampa Bay was later involved in a trade. It was later involved in a trade with San Francisco, and Tampa ended up picking at 13. They got drafted Tristan Wirfs, a tackle from Iowa, and then San Francisco ended up with the 14th pick, where they drafted Javon Kinlaw, D-tackle from South Carolina. And back to the Colts, they plan to give Buckner an extension worth $21 million per season. So really a 3-team trade here, so that's interesting. And then Brandon Cooks is being traded again, this time to the Texans, with a future fourth round pick from the Rams in exchange for a 2022 second round pick, 57th overall, which became wide receiver Van Jefferson from Florida. So pretty much the Texans and the Rams are swapping receivers here. So yeah, there's that trade. Brandon Cooks going to another team. He just got traded to the Rams from the Saints, from the Patriots. He's played for the Saints, the Patriots, the Patriots, the Rams, and now the Texans. And he's only like 25 or 26, so he's been traded around a lot. And then the last one. This one is pretty interesting. Rob Gronkowski is unretiring. He's coming back after his 1 year of retirement and WrestleMania win. And the Patriots decided to pretty much just dump his salary, and they traded him to the Bucks with a 7th round pick, and the Patriots get a 4th round pick. So Rob Gronkowski going to play with Tom Brady in Tampa, and the Patriots get a draft pick in return. And then just a couple of kickers here who are more well known in the league. Greg Zuerlein signing with the Cowboys, 3-year, $7.5 million deal. And then Kaimi Fairbairn is re-signing with the Texans, 4 years, $17.65 million, $7 million guaranteed. Now, I gotta talk about this Jaguars fire sale. This is pretty sad. They did sign Joe Schobert and Tyler Eifert this offseason. But they're having a fire sale. They're trading everybody away. Their team is just going to be in shambles next year. That Saxonville defense has only a couple players left. They pretty much have traded everybody away, like I said. So let's get into it. Calais Campbell being traded to the Ravens for a 5th round pick, and the Ravens are finalizing a 2-year, $27 million deal, $20 million guaranteed. Steal of a trade here for the Ravens, my goodness. And then A.J. Boye traded to the Broncos in exchange for a 2020 4th round pick. Another steal of a trade here. And then Nick Foles was dumped to the Bears for a 4th round pick. They had to get off his contract. And then Yannick Ngakoue demanded a trade from the team after being franchise tagged. He has not yet been traded, but most likely will be. I just was going to throw that out there. So yeah, no one wants to play for the Jaguars with all the issues they've had over the past couple of years. Yeah, just insane what's happened here with Jacksonville. And then we've got a whole list of franchise tags. I'll just go through all of them here. Dak Prescott by the Cowboys, AJ Green by the Bengals, Derrick Henry by the Titans. Yeah, they need to get that. They needed to keep him. Hunter Henry by the Chargers. Bud Dupree by the Steelers, Brandon Sheriff by the Redskins, Matt Judon by the Ravens, Chris Jones by the Chiefs, Leonard Williams by the Giants, Joe Tooney by the Patriots, Shaq Barrett by the Bucks, And Kenyon Drake received the transition tag by the Cardinals after being traded there from the Dolphins last season. So none of these really surprised me in the least, especially these franchise tags, especially Dak. They couldn't sign him to a long-term deal, so they had to tag him. Um, and yeah, same with Derrick Henry, AJ Green, and like Hunter Henry. These guys, weren't sure, they couldn't come to a deal, so they just franchise tagged them. It makes sense. So yeah, let's move on to talking about the Packers free agency. My team. I'm going to talk about what they did. Uh, Nothing really major here, but I will go through what I have here on this list, and I'll talk a little bit more in detail about a couple of the signings, especially the first two. So Christian Kirksey, linebacker, signed a 2-year deal with the Packers, $16 million. He's had some nice seasons with the Browns, so I do actually like this signing. Hopefully he'll be healthy. He's had an injury recently. And then Devin Funchess signed a 1-year, $2.5 million deal with the Packers, $6.25 million. So they did get a weapon for Rodgers. He's a pretty solid receiver. He was good with Carolina. I think he had an injury last year with the Colts, but yeah, he was solid with the Panthers. So I do think he can help the receiving core out for sure. And then Mercedes Lewis re-signed with the Packers. Yeah, Rick Wagner agreed to terms with the Pack. And then Jake Kumerow will remain with the Packers if he decides to re-sign. So hopefully he does. I'm hoping he does. Whitewater alumni. And then we've got some players that have moved on from the Packers. Geronimo Allison is going to the Lions. Yeah, not too hurt about that. Jimmy Graham to the Bears, like I mentioned. And then Brian Bulaga signed with the Chargers. I knew he was going to be gone. Same with Blake Martinez. He's going to the Giants. And Kyler Fackrell also will go to the Giants. Also is going to the Giants. So, yeah, pretty underwhelming free agency thus far. But I do like the first two signings on this list, Christian Kirksey and Devin Funchess. Some low-key solid signings for the Packers, I think. And before I wrap it out, I just want to say these contracts will probably change due to COVID. Due to COVID and all that's been happening with that, the salaries might get cut. We'll see about that. Hopefully you all enjoyed my free agency recap here. I couldn't possibly get to every player because there were so many, so I just went through major players that I could think of, and also I did throw some backups in here as well. So yeah, if I missed a player in free agency, just let me know. I did not discuss Cam Newton or Jadeveon Clowney because they're still unsigned. So yeah, let me know if I missed any guys that have been signed already, and yeah, I'll be keeping an eye out for those two guys as well. So this has been the Good Schmidt podcast. My name is Nick, and I am going to sign out. Bye, everybody.